Chuck Schumer is ready to use budget reconciliation process to pass President Biden's massive spending bill, but other Democrats want to include more relief into the bill before it is officially passed. This can mean recurring stimulus checks, everybody. So you want to continue to watch this video so you never miss out on the most important stimulus news. Here is some breaking news on President Biden's Build Back Better package. Democrats face big obstacles in a deadline measured in weeks as they attempt to pass a scaled-down tax, climate, and healthcare package that could give them a boost ahead of the November elections. Conversations are underway between Manchin and Chuck Schumer to negotiate a budget reconciliation bill that would require only a simple majority for passage that will meet Manchin's demands without losing support from many other Democrats. But even if legislation is written to accommodate Manchin, Sinema remains a crucial question mark. The reconciliation bill would need the support of the entire Democratic caucus in the evenly divided Senate to pass with a tie-breaking vote from Kamala Harris. Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin were holdouts to earlier versions of the reconciliation measure. Sinema came to generally support the Senate framework, but only after her objections trimmed the bill from $3.5 trillion to $2 trillion, and tax rate increases were replaced with other revenue raisers. The slimmed-down measure under discussion would raise about $1 trillion in new tax revenue, down from roughly $1.5 trillion in the House-passed Build Back Better bill, in a draft Senate Finance Committee amendment. Corporate and international provisions raising roughly $800 billion, like a global minimum tax intend to cut down on overseas profit shifting, and they're expected to remain the core with a smattering of other provisions to make up the difference. Also in line with both earlier versions is the emerging framework that would produce about $300 billion in savings from allowing Medicare to negotiate certain prescription prices and other cost-saving pharmaceutical options. Reining in prescription prices has been a top priority for Manchin throughout the negotiations. Sinema last year helped negotiate the initial prescription pricing framework that was included in the reconciliation bill. However, it's not yet clear where Sinema might land on specific language, and there's speculation that she may have other concerns with the latest version. The content of reconciliation bills needs to be verified with Senate parliamentarians like Elizabeth McDonough, and it is difficult for provision to survive without her approval. The review process began last year but has not yet been concluded. And with the ongoing crisis, millions of people are anxiously waiting for their fourth stimulus check. A change.org petition for $2,000 a month stimulus checks has already hit 3 million signatures. The petition pushes for recurring stimulus checks to be sent each month until the end of the crisis. Congress provided 3 stimulus checks to qualifying Americans in response to the crisis. Unlike the previous 3 stimulus checks, a 4th stimulus check would come from Congress supporters of another round of stimulus say that a single stimulus check is not enough to help people who are struggling financially during this time. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar and 55 Democrats sent a letter to President Biden to support recurring stimulus checks, and 21 Democratic senators have urged President Biden to deliver recurring direct payments in a letter. The lawmakers argued that the last federal stimulus check of $1,400 was just not enough to support low-income families throughout this time.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Hakeem Jeffries and Pete Aguilar. We got out late Thursday or early Friday morning, and I think everybody was sort of wondering, how is this going to go? And we call it a retreat, but I call it resolving that we will continue to work on behalf of the people. That resolve was strengthened by the positive nature of what Sean Maloney is going to tell you in a short time, but also by the panelists that we heard, focused on how we reach out, make policies for the people to lift them up. And very frankly, the American people in this country and the world received a gut punch from the pandemic. And we have responded with vigor and with effectiveness to that gut punch, which is why we are confronting an economy that is one of the fastest growing economies that we've seen in many decades. We mentioned the number of people employed at 7.4 or 5 or 6 million people. That's in the context of, in the previous 4 years prior to the Biden administration, losing 2.2 million jobs in America. What an extraordinary turnaround. Unemployment now down 4% and lower. We come to Philadelphia, the birth of our democracy, to say that we are going to renew our resolve to build this democracy even stronger. And now the Ukrainian people and the world has received a gut punch, and the world, led by Joe Biden, is responding in a way that has given the Ukrainians the courage and the resolve themselves to confront an overwhelming show of force by the criminal activity of the Russian army under Vladimir Putin. And I know that I speak for all of our caucus saying that we are not going to flag in our commitment to making sure that the American people and the global community stays together and lifts ourselves up. I know the President of the United States is going to come here and has empathy for the American people because they're being challenged by inflation. And yes, he said in the State of the Union, we're going to bring those costs down. And we're going to continue to fight for the Competes Act. We're going to continue to find the Build Back Better Act. And I hope all of you have noticed in this Congress over the last 18 months, the unity of purpose and actions of the Democratic Party.
Madam Speaker, let me wish you good morning, and my good friend, Mr. Cole, good morning. It feels like just a couple of hours ago I was saying good morning. But let me say to the gentleman, he looks marvelous for getting no sleep, and it's great to be with you. Madam Speaker, the Rules Committee met and reported a rule, House Resolution 972, providing for the consideration of the Senate amendment to H.R. 2471, the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2022. It provides for a motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 2471 with a House amendment and 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the Chair and Ranking Minority Member of the Committee on Appropriations. It divides the question on adoption of the motion into 2 votes in the order specified by the Chair, and provides that if any portion of the divided question fails, the House shall be considered to have made no disposition of the Senate amendment. The rule also provides for consideration of H.J. Res. 75, the extension of Continuing Appropriations Act of 2022 under a closed rule. It provides 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the Chair and Ranking Minority Member of the Committee on Appropriations, and provides for 1 motion to recommit. Finally, the rule provides for consideration of H.R. 6968, the Suspending Energy Imports from Russia Act, under a closed rule. It provides 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the Chair and Ranking Minority Member of the Committee on Ways and Means, and provides 1 motion to recommit. Madam Speaker, the bills contained in this rule are about investing in our communities and families here at home and living up to our values abroad. Throughout last summer, House Democrats were hard at work passing appropriation bills funding nearly all of the federal government to build on the momentum of our economic recovery. This full-year omnibus is the product of